trust more today? Jimmy GQ or Cam Newton?
And this is going to kind of sound funny because we're talking about an MVP, a guy that's taken his team to the Super Bowl in Cam Newton. But I'm going to say Jimmy Garoppolo is that I believe within that system, with the players he has around him, I trust him more, and I know he had a bad game a couple weeks ago coming off that ankle injury, but I trust him to do what this offense asks him to do, and I trust him to be more consistent throwing the football. We know Cam's going to be able to run the football and make plays there, but there's so many inconsistencies in Cam Newton as a passer. And then, Michael, add the guys that they've got on the outside that they're struggling to really find any rapport with. I'm going to say Jimmy Garoppolo here. I'm going to trust him more to throw the football and be more consistent with that.
And guys, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. You have to be able, and I know you guys do a great job of breaking down the game of football, but sometimes you have to look past the X's and O's and look at what a man is dealing with in his heart. And Cam Newton right now, just talk to everybody. He's dealing with something deep in his heart. And I know he didn't look good in Denver, and everybody was ready to get rid of him. But he did look great in Seattle. And I trust today I'm going to see that Seattle Cam today on a football field that's going to show up and play well. And I mean, not just, throwing his body around like you're seeing right there.
And you make a great point. Against Seattle, he threw for 397 yards. In every other game, he's been below 170. And again, it's not just about Cam. It's about trying to figure out who they have on the outside and who they can trust to make plays in the passing game.
Yeah, and the passing game is what's behind. It's a work in progress, let's face it.
And he just got there.
The run game can be dynamic and impossible to stop with Cam, right? And then Jimmy G's playing conservative ball with George Kittle back and Deebo Samuel. But the passing game for the Patriots has been, like you said, inconsistent, but it's a work in progress. We'll get better as time goes on with Cam. He will be fine. I think Jimmy G will have better stats today in the passing game, but I might pick the Pats to win this game. You're going to have to wait and see. And now let me send it over to Ian Rappaport in his summer home.
Well, thanks, Mooch. We are going to see the debut of former Jets running back Le'Veon Bell today with the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos. My understanding is came in the building, put his head down, went to work. He has been staying late with running backs coach Dylan McCullough just to try to learn this playbook. Has really dug in here. Does have a really good understanding just a weekend. I'm also told he looked really fast in practice and in good shape. This also seems to have kicked things up a gear for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie. He has turned it up after Le'Veon Bell showed up on his team. Meanwhile, Rich, a fantasy nugget here. The Lions are going to start Adrian Peterson still running back, but keep an eye on DeAndre Swift. I am told he is going to have an expanded role on this offense after a breakout performance last week. Going to see much more of him.
Well, obviously, him being back in the state of Georgia has got to be large for that young man. Hopefully as large as the role that he would wish for. I mean, you don't see the word hopeful on this usually, but that's the word for DeAndre Hopkins, who plays late night now, and there's the dreaded game time decision for Aaron Jones as well. It's now time to say hey to Kay Adams once again for our morning dose of fantasy advice, and we say good morning to the Good Morning Football co-host. Good to see you, Kay. Who are some of your sleepers you have an eye on this week?
I'm liking those little fantasy nuggets out of Ian Rappaport. Good morning to you, Rich. Let's talk about bye weeks. No Lamar Jackson. My first guy you shouldn't sleep on is Herbo. Fire him up. Justin Herbert's been on fire. He's electric. He has 7 touchdowns, just 1 interception in his last 2 games played. He had a bye week to rest up. He's making plays downfield to Mike Williams, another guy I really like today. And that bye week means that his guy, Keenan Allen, who was a bit banged up, had some time to get right today. They're facing the Jaguars. I think they'll be more competitive than they were last week. Herbert has a quarterback 1 finish in week 7. I also like Joe Burrow at quarterback if you're scraping. He is a must start in my opinion, and I don't think that you should count out his favorite wide receiver. Let's go with T. Higgins here, guys. He is absolutely on fire. There's consistency and a high floor coming off his first 100-yard game of his career. The snaps are going up every week. He's getting high volume passing offense, big targets. No Joe Mixon in this one. Let's get him 100 yards again today. And it's not too much to ask for, of course, against the Browns, who are top 5 most generous to wide receivers this season. And last but not least, let's double down on the wide receivers. Get you guys some help here today. Get yourself a win in Week 7. 21 targets for Brandon Cooks over the last 2 games. He's averaged 17.5 fantasy points over these 2 games since the Texans moved on from Bill O'Brien. Now, Will Fuller, yes, is the #1 there, but Cooks is on fire, and he should get plenty of opportunities in a high-scoring battle against the Green Bay Packers today. I have full faith in the high ceiling and high potential of Brandon Cooks.
You, Kurt Warner. Will this guy right here, Big Ben, continue having the success that he started this season?
For me, the question is, why not? And he's been really good. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He's been making some big plays with the young guys. But to me, this is as much about the Titans' defense as it is about the Steelers' offense. We look at this Titans' defense over the last 2 years. They'd only given up 24-plus points 3 times in each of the last 2 seasons. This year, they've already done it 3 times in 5 games. So defense on the back end isn't playing great football. Great offense, throwing the football, running the football. Going to have to keep Big Ben off the field, but I believe his success continues today.
I do too, and the big pleasant surprise that they had was the Notre Dame guy, Chase Claypool, right? Man, is he having a great season, added with Juju Smith. And you're right, Tennessee is undefeated. They're 5-0, and they're very good on offense, but their Achilles heel could very well be that defense. They tend to give up 30 points a little bit too easy.
Hey.
What?
Before you toss it.
What?
We got to show a tweet here, just for you, Rich. Got to show a tweet.
What do we got? What do we have
for
here?
You.
All right.
Hey, guys, let's make this easy. Please make your analysis and picks using GCP.
Oh, my God.
GCP. I guess now we're going out to Kim Jones. We're not even going to you, Rich.
That's fine. It's all good.
Well, thanks so much, guys. You know, after Ezekiel Elliott fumbled twice against the Cardinals, he told his teammates he was sorry. He then said that he was going to watch all of his fumbles to figure out what the problem was. If you're counting at home, that's 20 fumbles in 62 career games. Mike McCarthy calls Zeke a great locker room guy. He would love a big performance from his big running back today. Let's send it back to you, Rich.
All right, thanks very much. The Dallas Cowboys, the last time that we saw them give these many points per game and takeaways per game, that's fewest number. We've never seen it. Actually, we've never seen the Cowboys be as poor in those numbers prior to this year. Rushing yards per game allowed. Haven't seen that since the year they were born. And Irv remembers the days when they gave away the ball on average 2.5 times per game. That was 1989. Last time that happened.
Oh yeah, my knee was. I was hurt. My knee. I wasn't in there. I ain't have nothing to do with that mess.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I was.
The Dallas Star, Michael Irvin. It's not usually associated with. Oh, take a look.
Hey, this thing here, man.
Take a look.
Oh my God.
Take a look. That might show up on my Instagram feed at Rich Eisen once again very soon.
See. The highs and the lows of this show.
Is there an answer to that question, or is that question at the bottom the so-called rhetorical question? Any hope for the Cowboys?
And it's all about how do you consider hope, and what are you hoping to accomplish? Now, because there are some things here for the Cowboys that they can't accomplish here, as we see. Last week, we know Andy Dalton, and I've been saying this, guys, every time somebody said, and the Cowboys, everybody ate that up. We got the best backup in the NFL. That's what we're eating in Dallas. The best backup in the NFL meant the worst starter. Now your backup is a starter, and it looked bad last week. But all of that, you know how bad this division is, and this is what I'm thinking. It is important because the Cowboys can win the division. They won't go for anywhere in the playoffs, but they can win the division. And that's important because it's Mike McCarthy's first year. And let's win the division and have some good feelings for Mike McCarthy, especially after this bad start. So there's some hope in that, Rich.
Did you pin this on Andy Dalton when the running back is the one who fumbled twice?
Yeah.
Did I just hear that?
Let me tell you why.
It's Andy Dalton's fault.
Did you not see the guy that we had? The guy that's
creeping up on me
now,
between 6 feet.
They fumbled. They did a lot of things. They gave up points, and he brought them back. Andy Dalton, Andy, he was making money for Dak last week. He was working for Dak.
Well, somebody had to be.
He was working for Dak. He going to get paid.
Off of that last second game tying eventual overtime loss in Tennessee, where the game of the day in the early window resides. Undefeated Pittsburgh at undefeated Tennessee. That's how we roll into the NFL Game Day Morning Studios, presented by Lowe's. That's your schedule for the entirety. Those are your early window games, also including Panthers and Saints, who are without Michael Thomas again due to an injury. Battle of Ohio, Browns and Bengals. Later on this afternoon, the game that was moved due to COVID-19 out of the Sunday night window into the late afternoon window that also includes Chiefs, Broncos, 49ers, Patriots. I'm talking about the Bucks and the Raiders. Tonight's Sunday night game is now Seattle at Arizona. And welcome to NFL Game Day Morning, again inside the studio, presented by Lowe's. We put the home and home team, first of all, the royal we, Rich Eisen, and that is Steve Mariucci and my Hall of Famers at the end of the set, Kurt Warner and Michael Irvin. Okay, let's just get it out of the way.
What?
Since it is the elephant in the room. Michael Irvin leads in picks, lone wolf picks, and